Welcome to Sideline to Baseline with your hosts MB and K Lou, and I chill y'all. Hey, man, I'm gonna get right into it, fresh off the press. Not super duper, but this has been hot, and this is a guy that's been polarizing over the last few years, and I just don't get it. And his name is Dabo Swinney. He's Clemson University Tigers head football coach, and Dabo's been all over the fence. He was a hard line guy that said don't pay him nothing. Then he said, well, maybe, like, I ain't against him making money, but don't let it become NFL. And now it seems like he's decided to go all in on we'll make it for him. So Clemson has started a NIL kind of system themselves that I guess that's his way of monitoring it. But, in my headline, I say quit sending your kids to Clemson, basically. Why y'all sending them now?
You don't have Mr. Clemson on the show tonight.
I know. he missed his time. But I will tell you this, Jason would probably definitely defend Clemson, but he's not going to defend this money thing. Like, he's going to be like, these boys need to get paid. Jason and I have been having this conversation, 10, 15 years ago, having the same conversation. So I kind of know what side he lands on, but he's going to defend Dabo, though. Definitely.
So what's the deal, K. Lou? They developed what now?
So he was interviewed. It's probably, and he was talking about where the article was talking about is how he's flip-flopped along the way, and I think we all remember him saying he didn't think it would be good for the game. But let's see. He says about his own pay, because he's scheduled to make 8.5 this year. It's a free market we live in anything. None of us got into coaching to make money, but I don't apologize for being successful. If the free market says that Travis Hunter, though, should get $870,000 per year to go to Jackson State, isn't that what Swinney would want? And that's the author of the article saying. His words now say yes. His history of statements to the contrary say no. So he's just speaking about how Dabo has flip-flopped along the way. But let me get to the part where he talks about Clemson and what they're doing now. So indeed, Clemson has launched their own in-house NIL brand, Reign, as it's known. It's still in the mumbo jumbo word salad phrase right now. What it signifies, though, is that Swinney knows he must do this if he wants to keep his ambitions going. Yep. So this article is basically talking about him again, how he flip-flopped, and then now they've come out with their own brand. I guess that's what a booster club gonna give money to, and then they divvy it out to the kids. I don't know. That's what it sounds like to me. But Lane Kiffin was interviewed, I think it was today or yesterday, and he said on the interview that you either get with the program or you become a dinosaur and die. He said, everybody said Nick Saban would never do spread, never get out of, our pro formation, tight end, gonna be in the game all the time. And you see what happened. He did it. So he's like, look, it's just another thing. Somehow Lane said he agreed with Dabo as it relates to the rules of it all, saying that. And of course, why does he always take shots at Tennessee, y'all? Yeah, of course, over in East Tennessee, they got a guy $8 million, so we got to figure out how to look at this and not allow you to go there just for that.
Right.
So that was interesting. But and him again, what was funny to me is him taking a shot at Tennessee as usual. But at the end of the day, we all expected it to be like this. I remember us having a conversation. I was like, shoot, man, Texas and the rest of them got a chance now going to the highest bidder. And the quarterback that's going to Tennessee out of California, he ain't going, what he going there for? You already know it. 8 million reasons why he going over there. So that's where we are, man. And everybody now is crying and saying, the coaches who are a little bit against it, who ain't winning that battle, are saying, crying foul and saying somebody needs to put a cap on it. I mean, Lane Kiffin even called it a salary cap, like football. Like
right.
So it's just interesting to hear these coaches now, following suit or, with a guy like Dabo Swinney. But like Dion has proven, Jackson State can get in the game for the same reason.
Yeah. Now I kind of get an idea what you're thinking about. I mean, but obviously, you saw a lot of people crying when Texas A&M had the #1 recruiting class, and they was saying because of this reason, because you're able to pay. And obviously it definitely is going to create some imbalance. You can act like it doesn't exist, that it's not going to make an impact, but it is, you see in college basketball with the, as far as most recently with the Adidas whole thing, money's played a big part of it,
Right.
And money makes the world go round, and obviously if you try to act naive like it's not going to make an impact, you're going to be terribly wrong, and like you say, you're going to be behind the 8 ball if you don't make an adjustment as a coach and understand that this is how it go, and you got to play within the rules. It's like filing your taxes since it's tax day. You got to stay in the gray area. You got to understand the rules and how to work on your behalf. If you want to be successful in this day and age. So I definitely understand Dabo, because Dabo is also, I think you used the term dinosaur when it comes to the transfer portal. He's like doesn't want to get involved with that as well. But now I think his recent comments, I read somewhere maybe last week or something, where he came up with the exception about da-da-da-da-da, and I get it to some degree, but like you say, if when he started losing, trust me, God forbid, he's gonna make the adjustments as far as with that transfer report as well, because it's like it's equivalent to NFL free agents,
Yeah.
And so you got to hit, all different angles, not only develop the recruiting class that you bring in, but that's the one way to stay relevant when you low on a certain part or something's not happening. You got to get involved with it. So trust me, I think just like he's changing his mindset against as far as paying the players, he's also going to change his mind since the transfer report as well.
I think there's two major issues, and you see it in the NBA and you see it in the NFL, where you have salary caps, right? Mm-hmm. Everyone's got it. This is the amount of money. This is how much they can spend. So the product on the field is, do your best. You're all playing by the same rules. Whereas baseball, there is no salary cap. So there are the Yankees who can spend, $200 million more on their payroll without any penalty. And it's sort of the balance of what you're seeing in the product on the field with all the teams is different. How do you do that in college football? I don't know. Yeah. I mean, obviously, Dabo's looking at over his shoulder. He's looking at what's going on in Miami. He's looking at what's probably happening at FSU in his own conference. And quite honestly, the Miamis, the Texas, the Alabama, they're all going to be able to offer the money. And, the SEC's been offering this money. Now it's just above the table. It ain't under. I mean, that's the reality of it all. But if you were a kid and there's only 25, maybe 30 scholarships a year to go to one of these Power 5 schools, one of these top 10 programs, there's only a certain amount of spots. So you're going to get your money if you're looking at one of those 5 schools. you're also gonna look at who your coaches are, who's got the best chance to get you to the NFL. And quite honestly, if you're an 18-year-old kid, some care about where's the nightlife at. There's Miami's got an upside, and some care about the education. And it's going to be those 4 or 5 variables that are going to determine. I mean, look, in college basketball, you got guys not going to the pros no more because now they know they could do NIL deals and get another year or two of maturation playing college ball.
Right.
So it is. Dabo says it is. This is free capitalism at work. I just question whether it's the balance of the playing field will be equal, but it's been this way all along because it's just now it's above table. It's not under the table.
And my argument with Clemson and why Dabo's finally come around is let's face it, guys. What were we just 2-3 years ago? Were Clemson's top 3 in recruiting every year?
Not no more.
This year they dropped to 11. Ooh. You know what I'm saying? Like MB, I'm sorry to tell you, but what you kind of alluded to by losing, that's what's about to start happening over there. They gonna long remember the days, and wish they were back when they were, 3 out of 5 years in the Final Four game. Like that's over with, man. Like it's new sheriffs in town, and they all. I mean, UNC beat you in recruit. I don't know when does that ever happen. You know what I'm saying? Like even when Clemson wasn't competing for the Natty, they still was beating UNC in recruit. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So hey, listen, you better do something. Transfer portal, rain, fire, brimstone, all of it. Like you better come up with some better names than that and just get them in the building.
Yeah. It kind of reminds me of your alma mater Duke with Coach K not wanting to do the one and done, but you can't avoid it.
Yeah,
you can't avoid it.
And look at what he's done in his succession. They've got an insane recruiting class coming in. And, he's still calling unofficially, hey, this is Coach K. You should come play at Duke.
Absolutely. and guess what? Like, we're paying him. What's his name? Banchero. Yeah. He had an NIL deal of $2.5 million. So, I mean, yes, that's exactly why they're coming to college. Remember, we was just talking about the social media companies getting involved and putting teams together. I can't even think of the name of that team that I was talking about. And you see what the NCAA did, threw their hands up. Man, we got to do something. We're going to lose all our people, at least on the basketball side, overtime. When that was happening, when overtime was putting their stuff together and about to pay these guys. And NCAA threw their hands up basically because, I mean, ain't nobody watching no March Madness without the big time names in it. Sorry. And listen, we talk all that trash, but we do want to see Duke play Michigan or Michigan State play somebody or Carolina play Duke. That's what we really want to see at the end. So we just like a little upsetting during the process, but hey, calm down. Let's get everything straight and get everybody who's supposed to be in this game.
And that's what's crazy. If you put yourself in the NCAA shoes, they're worried about, you're going to change our model. We've been living really well for a long time with this model. We've gotten very wealthy, but the truth is their TV money is only going to get bigger now because of this. Yep. They might lose it other places, but their brand is still, now does the NCAA have any enforcement capability? I know. I think they're done from that regard. I think they're just, they're a rubber stamp now. So.
Yeah, and I think you're right about that because I was thinking, they put their hands up when they realized they couldn't win this battle, and they basically laying the teams aside. So even then, I think the disparity because of like you said, is the money difference between school to school is going to be so different that it's almost like you're going to have. You already got the Power 5. You're going to have to have an elite group that separate from that and come up with your own rules to try to level the playing field, because I don't see how you can limit it just based on I don't see what you could do. It's not like the NFL where you come with a salary cap. You can't, because it's coming from a different source. It's not coming from the league itself. You know,
It's
I don't
interesting.
know how you can limit that.
In the public sphere globally, the top teams in soccer, not your guys' favorite sport, but in England, the top 5 teams wanted to pull away with the top Spanish team, and they tried to create their own league. And the public, the people who watch this and live and breathe it, they said, "No, you're breaking our whole model. We like NFC versus AFC, you know." And so it's going to be a give and take with all this stuff. You know?
I really don't know what you could do though. What can you put in place just because this? I mean, I don't know what you could do.
I don't know why you would want to put anything in place. You know, I'm on the whole completely other side of the fence. I like the free for all. Yeah. You want your team to be good, pay for them. You know, I don't even do baseball, but the only team when I do it, I'm a Yankee because they don't care about paying for it. You know, so I'm like, so this would be my model. Like if even my alma mater, if they want to get better at doing it, pay for it. Pay for it. Y'all don't want to pay for it, just keep losing then, because you don't have no more excuses. You can pay now. You look at our situation, they definitely can pay. You decide not to pay.
What's crazy in baseball is not only do the Yankees pay for the team, but all the other team owners, they all share the profits.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So they're like, oh yeah, you go do all the work, but we're still going to make money off all this. They win either way.
Right.
Maybe not on the ball field, but in their checking account.
Right.
Oh, Tampa Bay wins, and they don't have the money that the Yankees have.
No.
Yeah.
Well, but yeah, the Haven. So what's your thoughts? You know, everybody gonna be crying who ain't at the top. So
you ain't gonna make everybody. You ain't gonna make everybody happy. I think in the future there is going to be, as MB said, I think there might be a breakaway sometime in the future where there's going to be, super conference with the elites of the elites. I think that day is just coming.
I think that you get a super conference type deal.
Yes, I think that day's coming. I mean, next 5-6 years, I think that's going to happen.
If you do, I don't think you can though, because I think the as a whole, the college football would suffer with that.
Yeah,
as a whole, because the other teams would be irrelevant, and I think if they are. If they're irrelevant, then I think booster club funding and all that stuff starts to go down.
They're irrelevant now because they can't compete though.
Right.
Yeah, but you had
the gap is about to get wide.
They can pretend. They can pretend and keep playing the same teams that will compete for it and have them on their schedule. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're a part of this. But now all of a sudden you take us from being a part of it, then I think it's over with. Then they take their football and go home and be like, okay, well we're done then, and it becomes super conference and the rest of them, Ivy League conference. You know what I'm saying? That's just what ends up happening.
I think it's coming. It'll be
interesting. It'll be interesting to watch play out. I mean, at the end of the day, each school still needs to sell out or sell tickets for a certain amount of home games. They still need to play the cupcake teams. They still need to fulfill TV contracts. They need to get easy wins. So
and let's delve more into what you just said, DeHaven, and obviously MB, this is your thing. What does this conference look like? Is it a 16 team conference, and who's in it? How about that? Let's go to the nuts and bolts of it. Don't let y'all just escape.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking, like, when you look at the you got the conference now, right? Pac-10, Big Ten, all that stuff, right? And then it's already top heavy based on, say, football, for instance, right. SEC obviously a little bit more balanced, but still you got Alabama, you got Georgia. I think they about to separate even more, And then you look at Big Ten, you got Michigan, Ohio State, right? And then, so I don't know.
Remember the Big Ten, I think, is a little bit more balanced. At least their scores represent that.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I mean, that's the fight we had last year. Were they a better conference? But I'm saying at least they're playing each other tougher. than the
Yeah.
SEC.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that gap is gonna get bigger. So I don't know how, from a structure standpoint, I just see like they already crying. The non-conference Power 5 teams are crying about,
Right.
with the Cincinnati, the rarity of them making it to being part of the Big Six. I
Right.
just think now with this the money's been on top of the table now. I mean, man, it's going to separate even more.
But
So
MB,
revenue sharing is going to have to be huge.
Yeah.
You sound like you're saying
the bottom feeders. They got to get for them to say, okay, you know what? I'll be happy with being like the FAMU playing Miami, or you know what I'm saying.
That's how
Still
Rutgers
in
and
on
Ohio
the
State's going to be.
Huh?
Rutgers is in the Big Ten. That's how it's going to. Rutgers and
Right.
Ohio State's going to be.
But my question again, you guys aren't tapping into it. So MB, you saying 2 teams from each conference?
No. I'm saying that to keep
what does it look like? Is
I'm
it
saying
16
right now
teams, and who are those teams? Is it 8 teams, and who are those teams?
I don't know. I mean this whole time I'm like trying to figure it out now. I'm just thinking, like, say, to keep the Big Ten intact, because obviously it's more than other. It's like I don't know. I really don't know. It's kind of almost, let me talk through it right now. It's kind of like what Notre Dame does, and since they're not part of a particular football conference, they kind of separate and and I don't know, maybe the
Maybe it's a couple of
separate
games.
themselves some way from football wise, just to make it I don't know. That's a good question. Go ahead, Dave.
No, I'm saying maybe it's a couple of games like in the Super Conference, and then a couple of games against, the traditional Big Ten schools or whatever. Maybe it's something like that.
You might have a Sweet 16 tournament is what it might really. I mean, they've been talking about expanding that playoffs things. 2 teams or the top 4 teams from each one of these. 4 from the SEC, 4 from the Big 10, 4 from the ACC, 4 from the Pac-10. And who else do you have? The Big 12?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. I mean, let me start with this, K-Lou. I think probably maybe it's a natural separation right now, because you got the Power 5 and then you got the non-Power 5, right?
Right.
So even if from the rules standpoint, legislation standpoint, they kind of separating the Power 5, got their, they compete for their own title. I mean, obviously Cincinnati last year, they showed that you could be a non-Power 5 and still make the party. But now with the money being and all that gap's going to get wider. It may be even harder from them to even get that. So crawl before they walk. Maybe the Power 5 sets up their own, bowl game series and stuff like that. It starts that way. And then within that, over time, then now the lead of the lead, when you kept seeing the same people over and over again, maybe they separate something. I don't know. That's just the best of the best. Maybe,
I like that idea. It's Power 5. Take 3 teams from each. That's 15, and do 1 wild card that the public or they all vote in, and there's your 16-team tournament, and that's how you start December. And you do it like they do college basketball, and you win, you move on.
Yeah.
I mean, that's essentially the bowl games the way they were set up.
Right.
So you guys aren't really. But I thought you were talking more of a super conference, not a end of the year type thing. I thought y'all were saying they're going to break off. And so what I was trying to nail you to is who's going to break off?
Well, I think right now, in the short term of it, K-Lou, as far as breaking off, I can see the Power 5 breaking off from the other, what FBS is that name of it? Yeah, I could see them. I think that'll probably be the first step in regards to because the smaller mid-level teams be like, man, it's hard for us to compete, especially if they want to compete for, again, championship and being like the next Cincinnati Cinderella. I can see the Power 5s like, you know what? Hey, with Power 5, let's create our own league,
But it might be the reverse. You look what Deion's doing. If he proves you can win without being in the Power 5 and with NIL deals and loading up teams,
Dion's still about 10, 15 players away, man.
Yeah, Dion. I mean, what
to compete with Dion, what we're talking about,
right?
Yeah, it's we talking about winning championships and stuff like that. Dion, I mean, obviously he's a special case. I mean, the fact with the NIL and the fact that he's Deion Sanders,
right.
his name carries a lot of weight.
It's the exception. It's not the rule.
Yes, exactly.
I got it.
Just thought process, because as far as that, because that money now is gonna make that gap wider between the Power 5 and the non-Power 5. I think.
Man, well, that's interesting conversation. Well, guess what? The playoffs, MB, is in the building, and man, NBA playoffs. We got
Don't talk about the Nets.
Your Golden State Warriors took care of business the other night, MB. But Clay, I think ended up with like 17, 18, somewhere around there. But DeHaven mentioned today that went plumb crazy because Steph didn't play all that much. Jordan Poole. And he told you, he said Jordan Poole might be more important than Klay Thomas. I think that was solidified the other night. He went for 30.
Just one game, baby.
Klay had a good game though. Klay had
a good game in the beginning.
Yeah, I didn't say. I started off saying like 18 or 19. I don't know. Yeah, somewhere around that.
I look forward to seeing them going against Phoenix. I think that's inevitable from what I saw. But you never know with this Minnesota or Memphis team. So
that Minnesota was the most impressive win of the weekend.
Yeah.
You say what?
Minnesota.
I think Minnesota was the most impressive win of the weekend.
Yeah, that was that. I mean, just the way they played. I mean, because you saw them when I didn't really watch them all season, but I saw them play the Clippers in the play-in, and I mean, I was like, no way they won that game, and they ended up winning. Especially because Cat was in foul trouble. He didn't show up. But watching them play Memphis, I mean, they was balanced. You see the athleticism, you see the scrappiness, you see it all. I was like, that is the series to watch. That Memphis-Minnesota series, based
without a doubt.
If that first game of indication, that's going to be a series to watch, man. Because those teams are feisty, athletic. I mean, they came ready to play, and they got some players.
Yeah, you can't underestimate the leadership of like somebody like a Patrick Beverly for a young team. So I mean, I think that's a good model for a lot of NBA teams that have younger players for them to follow. Bringing a veteran like that with a lot of intangibles like that. It helps lift your team, gives them a little swagger, gives them tenacity on defense. I thought he did good against Morant, got to the foul line a lot, but I thought Beverly, did okay on Morant. But I guess he gives the other guys confidence though. I mean, for Edwards, the playing game and 36 Saturday?
Yeah.
I mean, that's a hot start.
Yeah.
That's a real hard start to a playoff career. I think he was up there on a nice list the other day.
Yeah, he was. He was. But yeah, K-Lou, I mean, Golden State, Poole, I mean, he definitely came ready to play. And the way Golden State is, that, like I talked about it before, that the whole Flash is strict in numbers, and he's definitely stepped up and came ready to play, man. And but I just think he's been consistent all year as well.
Yes.
And they came up with the he should have been recognized as one of the most improved players. Yeah, and he didn't even make the list. He didn't make the cut.
He's not on that. Wow. He didn't make that cut. That's unbelievable. That's a crime right there.
No doubt. No doubt.
Well, I think, situations like that, sometimes the system gets too much credit.
True.
You know what I mean? Saying that you can plug and play a multitude of guys and they can give you the same kind of output. So sometimes you're actually, looked down upon based upon everybody giving that system so much credibility and so much. They got a lot of names in that system too. Though.
Yeah,
there's the names in that system. Steph was on every commercial this weekend. Didn't he? I mean, every time I looked up, Steph was on a commercial. You know what I mean?
Right. Even when KD, let's think back now. Even when KD was there.
That's true.
They still talked about the system before they talked about, man, this dude, can't nobody do nothing with this dude. We all knew that. But they still talked about the ball movement, You know, everybody,
like,
nobody's
they don't talk about him as a champion. Like, it's like, oh, he got it with Golden State. But people don't realize that LeBron had just beat him.
Right.
And when KD hurt his knee, they lost to Toronto.
Correct.
So that's true.
And so that's my issue with that. Like they are quick to give Steve Kerr all the credit in the world for their wins. And I mean, listen, I ain't trying to knock him or say he didn't have a large part to do with it, but I know you could have put them 4-5 people in anybody's jersey and the same thing would have happened.
Okay, Mark Jackson going to continue coaching him. He might give him one more year.
Now you know why you need to start watching this Winning Time, regardless of what Magic says.
Look,
I always thought it was Paul Westhead that was the brains behind it all. He was a joke. It was the old man McKinnon behind him who created it, but it was Riley that saved the day.
Wow.
I never knew that. I always thought Paul Westhead was just high-paced, fast-paced. That's the way I was always taught. And he was basically a buffoon. He was a good assistant. Was a terrible head coach.
Now we done spent time on 2 West Coast teams. Let's go over to the East. I watched all of that Bulls Milwaukee Bucks game, man.
That was ugly. That was ugly.
That shocked me, y'all.
Milwaukee was exposed.
Listen, it was crazy. It made me think about y'all in the Heat. Like, man, like now Milwaukee's gonna beat them. That's not, I'm not even trying to go there.
Right.
But they played them like that and shot horrible from the field. Like the Bulls couldn't hit nothing.
They were 21 to 71.
Could have beat them.
Yep.
The Rosen was 6 for 24.
Listen, even down the stretch, they could have tied it up twice and blew 2 layups. That's how bad they would shoot, and still, had every opportunity to not just be in that game, but they could have won that game. So that was shocking to me to watch Milwaukee. Now, the excuse they give, basically, they were off 8-9 days, I think it was. And so they put a lot of stock in that. Listen, I ain't playing the NBA. I don't know how much that plays. Hey, for me and MB sake, we think that's better because you get the rest and heal. So we think opposite. But I guess rhythm and shots and movement and all that may affect them more. But man, like Caruso, man, I missed him. Watching him play with Chicago. Listen, it was stretches where he 5 foot nothing, 100 and nothing, took over the game on defense. Are y'all hearing me?
Okay, don't forget, Giannis wasn't foul trouble.
Everything.
Giannis was in foul trouble.
They got him there.
He was in foul.
They don't even have a big on Chicago, so that's Giannis' fault. Like, he don't even have to play defense. Vucevic want to shoot threes, and the other power forwards that they rotate don't even look at the rim. So why are you in foul trouble? Like, they don't even look at the rim.
I'll wait to see game 2. Like I said, I think them having a layoff. I thought Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton didn't look good at all yesterday.
At all.
Right.
I mean, they look like they got a championship ring and like
we good.
But I mean, Brook Lopez actually saved the day for them.
He sure did
for them yesterday.
And actually, I thought it was a terrible call that one that put them back up.
Yeah,
I thought that was a charge.
And then that was an over the back when Giannis should have been out the game.
Exactly.
But
I was like, what else you want to do? He did it textbook like coaches teach it, and they called a foul on him.
But I don't even know Williams' first name.
That's what I'm telling you. They had 2 dudes. I don't know how tall they are for real, but compared to Giannis, they look like 6'7", 6'8". Yeah. No more than that.
Right.
And they were like giving them fits. Like, I guess that's the deal with him. Don't put a big on him, put a smaller guy so that they can move his feet with him. Now, of course, they ended up doubling and tripling, but they were doing a good enough job that, he was missing down the stretch, man.
He was. It looked like Giannis from like 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it looked like.
If you remember that for the year in the bubble when Jimmy Butler was on him, they took that. He was so low under him, he kept pushing him out of the paint.
Right.
It was last year that where Giannis grew up and became a man. He's like, I'm not going to let you do that, and he's like, I'm going to keep going to the rim.
Right.
That's why I'm looking forward to round 3 this year. But as
I
a Heat
think
fan,
y'all got a chance against them. I'm telling you. You look at that Chicago film.
I agree.
That don't make no sense. Because again, guys, Chicago couldn't buy a basket and was still in the game.
There's only one team I don't want to. There's only one team I don't want to face, and that's the Havens, Brooklyn.
Them Nets.
Yeah.
So we can go right to them. The Celtics pull out a game-winning thriller.
I put that on Steve Nash, though.
You say what, Dave?
I put that on Steve Nash. Like, I didn't see a lot of. It reminded me. Y'all remember how Oklahoma City used to play? You know, you go Westbrook, I go Durant. That's how it looked yesterday. It was like, whose turn is it? And there was no play set at the end of the game. It's like Kyrie just dribble. It's not a lot of ball movement. I mean, I guess when you got 2 stars like that, KD was a little off yesterday. Boston was real physical with him yesterday. I mean, that's not a typical KD game, but I still didn't see a lot of ball movement. Like, this is a series where you might need to. I think Aldridge was healthy, but he got a DNP. You might need somebody like Aldridge that can pick and pop and take Horford away from the basket. So I put a lot of that on Steve Nash. And like I said, Durant obviously didn't have his best game. But Kyrie Irving is the best point guard in the league. Caleb, I'll give you a shout out for that. You called it before. You said he's going to snap the playoffs. Boston fans telling him he sucks. He just gave it back to him.
Yeah, he gave them the finger too.
He hit everything.
And I was shocked to hear Charles Barkley reaction.
Yeah.
He basically poo-pooed on Kyrie, and I'm like, ain't you the dude that used to fight fans?
Spit on people.
I'm confused. You should be on his side.
It was so ironic.
He shouldn't worry about that. You listen. I know, and I'm not sure if MB was like this, but that kind of stuff used to fuel me. That gave me energy to play harder. So I think that's what Kyrie's doing, and he's saying he ain't telling them to shut up. He's saying come back with it. You know what I mean? Like, if y'all gonna call me out my name, I'm gonna give you something back.
Right.
Because he's saying I'm giving that specifically to the persons, because he said he eyeballed him. He knew who was saying what it was.
Right.
Which is a whole different level, DeHaven. He's so cold-blooded, he listening to exact fans, pointing them out.
They hit a jumper right in their face.
Yeah, he definitely came ready to play. And looking at, like you talk about the stat line, when I saw the stat line, that a KD typically, is a better percentage shooter than Kyrie, but it flipped. I mean, Kyrie came ready to play. Came ready to play that game, man.
I'm telling y'all, he's heard all the foolishness all year, man. And I think he just been chomping at the bit. Like, when I get back out there full time, it is on and popping. And that's what I think he's doing. I think he's really taking the LeBron approach, where I think Kyrie was feeling himself a bit over the years. Like, I'm Kyrie, that kind of attitude. You know me. And I think now he scrapped that and said, you know what? I got to show him. I got to show him every night. And so that's what I think. We've gotten a different version of him, especially down the stretch, when he was like unconscious some games, man, just cold-blooded. And I think that's how his approach is going to be throughout the playoffs. I think he's going to be one of them guys that's yelling at Steve Nash about getting out the game and all that. Like, he want to play every minute.
Well, I guess my question is, that was a bad way to lose yesterday.
Right.
Does that take a lot out of them for game? Well, game 2 is not till Wednesday, which is probably the best break for the Nets. They get a little rest. But that was a tough way to lose yesterday. Was that their best shot? I mean,
yeah, think about it too. Now they're home. Like,
that's true.
That's the first thing you got to do is protect your home court when you're in these series.
They barely did.
And so remember, all you got to do is win your games.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, so and basketball makes it so that they get an opportunity. Brooklyn gets an opportunity, and then you can't let them steal one, because now you behind the 8 ball. So I think that's what Brooklyn looking the whole court when they at their home, and then I think it's a different version. They try to steal one. I just don't think Boston has enough, man. I think it's going to end up them 2 stars, Jaylen Brown, Tatum, against the wrong 2 stars.
When you look at that game, go ahead, Dave. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, MB. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I said Smart played all right. Now, I mean, Boston has a better supporting
He always
cast.
does.
Right. And Smart played good, and Hartford played good as well.
Yeah.
Hartford he was in double digits, and he did some damage. So I was really surprised they got more out of it. It wasn't just Tatum or Brown, but it was those other guys that helped out as well, especially being minus Robert Williams as well. And I was kind of shocked, and I thought about you, Double A, on this one, but Vegas had Boston favored to win the game, and I was like, no way. Brooklyn, especially with Robert Williams being out and da-da-da-da, I was like, man, there's no way. And for them to win, I was like, man, that Vegas, man, I hope they ain't point saving out there. I said, how in the world did but it's just so I thought about you on Double A because you always
it's funny you say that because it goes back to our conversation earlier on the show with the NIL. That component with all these kids having money and not necessarily having the maturation, that's going to be an issue. The gambling. And I'll just leave it at that. But to go back to this, I'm not conspiracy. I'm just saying it's just these guys got discretional money. I saw the total on the Bulls Bucks game was like 230, and with 9 minutes to go, they had scored 150 points. So I'm like, what is going on here? So that was a major somewhere something. Then I was like, hey, you might want to look into that. We'll see if it happens again. But to come back to that Celtics game, and that's my question. It's like, okay, Kyrie just went off, had 39. Yeah. Looks like you haven't seen that since Isaiah Thomas or Magic. That's it's me versus the world. Can he do that for 7 games? Yeah, there's no doubt. Will KD come back the next game and score 39, and Kyrie maybe have 21 and 15 assists? Probably. But the bottom line is they still lost on a layup. And in championship basketball, you can't. It's one thing to get beat by a buzzer beater, but to get beat by a layup, that's a red flag to me. So and like I said, if the Heat were to wind up playing the Celtics, great. that don't scare me. Those two dudes scare me, but I don't know if they got anything else around them.
Yeah, and Boston was just so much bigger than them, so I don't know what Nash could do. I mean, I don't know if you play Drummond and Claxton. Like he played Drummond earlier. Drummond got a little foul trouble, but he didn't bring him back in. I mean, he's going to need to do something to get bigger to help against those guys.
What do you think? And that's my question. So you think the answer is to go bigger, or do your answer is go small ball?
I don't know if small ball worked because they were getting out rebounded.
Yeah. I like the Aldridge idea. I think you go big. I think you pound that skinny athletic Celtics team and you make it feels like 90s basketball out there. That's where I go.
Well, you need somebody to give you like 10 or 12, at least on the pick and pop, like Aldridge can do.
Yeah.
But like it just looks like the Nets were running the ball movement. It was like, I mean, I guess you got the best one-on-one point guard in the game right now. So, but still, the ball movement just wasn't there.
Did Boston defense? Because I mean, they are the number 1 defense in the league.
Yeah.
That had a lot to do with it as well?
Yeah, it definitely affected their defense. Definitely affected KD yesterday.
No doubt.
6 turnovers. I think he hit 9 for 24. He had 23, but 6 turnovers. I mean, he looked rattled the whole game. But I think he'll come back. KD. I think he'll come back strong the next game and show the world what he's made of. But like you say, Double A, do they have enough outside of those 2 guys? Like Big Buddy Ben won't play, so he wants to look good in his designer clothes on the sidelines.
Who's that? David? You said
Ben Simmons.
I told you he wasn't coming back, man.
I mean,
I don't know if you'll ever see him again.
Really? I didn't think that.
Not on that team. I just don't know where you're going to see him. I mean, I just, at a certain point, you got to start to wonder.
Didn't he practice this week?
He's been dunking.
Huh?
He's been dunking.
Hopefully,
I thought I read somewhere they say he would start practicing.
I heard he's been doing some dunking and stuff like that. He might be MB. They said there's a possibility he could come back this series.
I got an 8-foot rim in the back of my house. I've been dunking too.
See, I thought I read somewhere they said he was practicing with the team and he was pain free, and I thought I read somewhere that
He should
way.
have played yesterday.
Huh?
He should have played yesterday.
Yeah.
If he don't show up now, he don't got it. I don't care.
Double A. The only thing I'll agree with you with is if the next year thing, maybe not being there. If they can win without him, he hurts himself.
You say what now?
If they can win without him, then he becomes a huge trade piece to get somebody else in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Why you say that, Caleb? I know
because the mental issues, they got one of them already.
I don't need no more of it.
You know what I'm saying? Like them issues. So if you got issues, I'm not trying to be mean or anything. No. But I mean, I don't know if you can take two of your main guys being that, because that can destroy a team. And so I think if you can win with KD and Kyrie, then he becomes expendable. And maybe you start looking at another piece to partner with them and take, obviously use him for that trade bait.
What's that Boston Garden?
I think they need to win it in order for that to happen.
What's that Boston Garden crowd? You saw what they did to Kyrie. He feeds off that. What do you think they're going to do to Ben Simmons?
I wonder now should Harden just waited it out because the vaccine mandate changed, but Philly did look good yesterday.
Yeah.
The other day, I'm sorry, Saturday. I mean, Tyrese Maxey looked good, but Harden didn't have to do that much. Still had a good stat line, but I wonder if he should have waited that out.
If he should have what?
Waited, tried to stay in Brooklyn and waited, I think a big reason he left was because of the vaccine situation, Kyrie situation.
Right.
And he had a beef with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant said he came in out of shape. So that
who you talking about?
Harden.
James Harden, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what do you thought about Harden? I mean, you're right. He had a good game. He had like 14 assists.
Yeah.
20-some points. I think 4 from 6 3-pointers, right? But I don't know. It just seemed like that initial quickness or something. I mean, his separation when he scored, he just seemed unstoppable in the pass. He just don't seem like the same dude to me.
Well, part of it is they took the calls away. Part of it, the last 2 years, he's still been trying to figure out, trying to reinvent himself. Because you gotta remember, he was in front of LeBron with free throw attempts. You know what I'm saying? Like this guy knew how, as soon as when you know how you normally just have your hands out on defense, like you taught, when he gets horizontal with you, y'all get side by side, he's ripping the ball through your arm and getting to the line off of that.
Exactly.
So they quit calling it to the point where, guys, you can go back 2 seasons ago. You really can. You go back 2 seasons ago and watch players play him from the side and not even in front because the ref would call a foul every time. It was like watching like fake basketball or something like this. You really doing this? Like you running on the side of him and funneling him to the center so he can try to, block it or whatever. And then he stopped, let him run into him and get bumped and then still get a foul and one. Right. So I think that, and then they made, you know how it is, MB. Everybody complaining. So in the off season, they tell the refs, quit calling that, and then they come in and present to us how they not going to call that anymore. And it's like, remember, it was so funny one year, guys. So our D linemen were supposed to. So MB was out there. I was watching. They were supposed to hold. Hold the offensive linemen as they tried to climb to the backers. It happened a few times. Most of the time it didn't. Right? So what happened was we get into that meeting, the refs coming to show, what the emphasis they're putting on calling this year. And we all splattered all over the field. And I'm sure MB and Jesse was like, man, I wish they really was doing that every play. But it was like a what not to do. And it was all featuring the giant D linemen. And they were grabbing old linemen, like holding them so they couldn't climb to the backer. And so I feel like that's what happened to James Harden. And our guys was like, good, I can't hold no more. What the hell mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, for I don't know, Caleb, you don't think with Harden, like I agree with you saying in that respect about with the Giants, because I used to tell Hammer be tired, say, Hammer, man, you tired, just grab somebody. Just grab don't worry about making a play, just grab them, you know? Because then, or then my man Griff, Griff, he thought he was a linebacker playing D-line. I was like, Griff, well, hey, I say, if you don't hold that dude, you better make that play.
Exactly.
I would get on him. But yeah, I agree with what you're saying in the sense the rule change. I guess the rule change with the foul. But for me, I don't know. I mean, because Harden, he don't seem as quick as he did before. You know, like
he was never quick.
That separation. Huh?
Yeah. I didn't ever think he was quick. I always called him super crafty. Yeah.
It might have been all them years in Houston taking
it just seemed like when he made those moves, he, like you say, he can get those guys in those awkward positions. To me, like his first step, he can get by dudes and all that. I don't see that. So he always had like a great first step, can get guys in awkward positions and stuff like that. I haven't been seeing that. I don't know if it's the hamstring issue he had the past 2 years. Then I didn't even know about KD calling him out because he was out of shape.
He likes to party in the off season.
He just don't seem as quick and crafty like he did before. You know?
Lee, even I'm gonna remind you, like it was this shouldn't be done featuring James Harden. The moves that I told y'all, and then the main move, the step back, that everybody was saying he kept traveling with. Like all his stuff ain't really explosive, it's crafty. And they start cutting it off, saying he can't do it no more.
But that's the thing is, to me, it's always seemed like he had a knack for creating separation. He could always create separation and get by, get his shot off, this and that.
I'm starting to see him slow down.
And I don't see that.
Exactly right. You're seeing him slow down, and because of the beard, you don't know if he's got that double chin. You have no idea. he's hiding the cheeseburger in there. You know?
James, like it's well known he likes to party. It's well, you know.
Is he? Okay.
Oh,
yeah, he's a big partier.
See, I don't know. I was just like I said, the way you call it crafty, the first step, just whatever. I was just thought, man, when he get outside, he was a hard cover for anybody.
Oh, you know? Absolutely.
And I mean, and he was just like he had a way, like either you're gonna foul him or you're gonna get shut off. He's gonna get, something gonna happen. And to me, I just don't see that same thing. And I was like, wow, when I watched him, I was like, man, something's off. I don't know what it is.
Well, I mean, he is getting older. Father Time, is undefeated. He that is happening, like you said, injuries. But being explosive is not his game. It never has been, though.
But they said they would
quit. I said quit.
The team would change their travel schedule around, like where if he wanted to stay in the city extra day to go out and hang out. Like that's the stuff. He's kicked us out of a section before in Houston. Like I've been in Houston at a section. Dude was like, "You gotta leave." I'm like, "I'm spending money." He's like, "You're not spending that type of money." James wants that section. So I mean, like,
wow,
yeah. I mean, he's got $10 million Adidas deal. I was like, "No, I don't have that type of money." We'll go over here.
he did that. He did that in Miami.
You say I need to sit in the bathroom? Okay,
I got something else for y'all over here, but somebody likes this section. Sure enough, James Harden smoking hookah. I'm like, he just dropped 30, but he out there puffing hookah.
Yeah. Well. Speaking of Philly, I mean, do y'all think Embiid? Who y'all think gonna win the MVP? You think Embiid's gonna win it?
They might give it to Joker again because he didn't have anything around him this year. Like Murray and Porter was hurt. I think Embiid should win it though. I think Embiid should win, but I think it's going to be Joker again Embiid because they were 6th seed and he has nothing. Right. I mean, with Murray and them boys hurt and Porter hurt. I mean, it's just little. If you take him off that team might win 10 games.
It's been a few teams where it happened like that, but historically it goes to the better team. I'm gonna just say that. So because of that,
you think Embiid's gonna get it?
Yeah,
I think it's Embiid or Giannis. That would be mine. I don't know if he's even in the conversation, but
Right.
Yeah, those are top three.
But after what I saw with Chicago, I was like, whoa. So
listen, man, Miami got it. My dad's a huge Heat fan too, and he was excited after seeing that. He was like, "Boy, I told you, we got a chance." After watching Milwaukee and Chicago.
Yeah, but the Hawks just came off a game on Friday night. Don't get too happy.
We're not. But
Friday night.
This Hawks team went on a serious run last playoffs. But I also know we are deep. We are healthy, and the best thing in the world that I was happy about is that Bam didn't get his Defensive Player of the Year. He ain't even a finalist for that, so that's gonna piss him off even more.
Bam's been hurt.
Right, but he was hurt for a good 20 games. He had surgery on his finger, but he's still 1 to 5. He's as good a defender as there is in the league right now.
Right.
So I'm psyched about and I'm psyched that Duncan Robinson went off. It just makes his trade value better. Unless he does this the whole playoffs, then if he does that the whole playoffs, we're winning.
We'll talk to New Friday when they come to Atlanta, though. They got to come to Atlanta on Friday.
Well, but also Atlanta, though, too. I mean, you look at, what help does Trey has?
Right?
He's nothing there.
Collins is out, and then now, what's his name? Clint is out at center for a week.
Capella's out,
Capella,
Yeah.
So he's missing a lot of players, especially when you go that pick and roll. I mean, he's missing a
lot
of.
Gallinari and Bogdanovich get hot.
Huh?
If Bogdanovich and Gallinari get hot, they tough to beat.
They got to stay hot too.
He's got some perimeter shooting, but they've got nothing down low, and that's going to be a problem.
They got to stay hot, DeHaven.
Yeah,
they never hot. Herder, they never get hot at the same time. It's like one or the other is hot between Herder, Bogdanovich, and Gallinari.
Right, but the Heat did a good job switching on Trey as well.
Yeah,
so they definitely got some shooters. He's got some talent. They got some shooters. They got some players around him. So it's all about matchups, like boxing, right? It's about matchup, and just the Heat they're a great matchup for the Hawks.
They didn't even have to bring on Caleb Martin to use any fouls on Trey.
Right,
and then that's their glove. That's their cleaner guy, man. He's a glove one. He ain't Gary Payton, but he's remember Patrick Beverly, where he started out was Pat Riley. That taught him his defense early on in his career.
Spoelstra might be the best coach in the East.
Without a doubt.
Now he came out as a finalist for coaching. Do you think he's going to win it, or you think Monty or the coach from Memphis?
I think that coach from Memphis, because nobody saw Memphis doing this.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm going for Monty, man. I hope Monty win it. Monty won the coaches, from his peers, but he won it last year too, and still didn't win from the media.
The whole thing.
So I'm hoping that he win, because especially with Memphis, his Phoenix is 8 games ahead of Memphis. Memphis finished second, But I agree with you. Nobody expect
Memphis to be
where they are with that young team. And then also you talking about missing their star player. They missed Morant for like 20 games?
Yeah.
And they was like 18-2 or something like that as well.
Yep. Who y'all gonna hire, K-Lou? Me?
Hey, you know who I want. I already told him, Lamar Jackson, baby. I told him up front.
Who
was that?
The Lakers.
I ain't playing. We need somebody that's gonna come in there and not listen to nobody.
Who you traded Anthony Davis for?
Program.
Who you traded Anthony Davis for?
Oh, he ain't going nowhere, man. I ain't buying into that. I ain't buying into that, man. I'm sorry.
We get him healthy in Miami.
I'm not buying into that stuff about injury prone, all that, man. Look,
they ain't getting rid of no AD or LeBron.
Just let LeBron be a player coach.
He already is.
He been that, but not on Marl Jackson style. See, and Mark gonna go straight up to the top and let Kurt Rambis know, and his wife, look here, man. Y'all don't run that. I'm letting you know that right now. Keep y'all need stale pill. Well, the box, don't ever be in my locker room. He gonna lay down the law, man.
Yeah.
So I'm Mark Jackson, Action Jackson.
That's who you want?
Yeah. Because we need somebody that's gonna demand respect, not get respect. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a different tone.
Right.
like Phil Riley. I mean,
Jackson.
Phil Jackson. Yeah, coming in the building and garnering respect, and everybody like, oh, we respect him till he tell you something sideways or talk about you in the media. Then you got a problem.
Yeah.
And then they forget all about that respect thing. All of them went through
Toronto. They said they're looking at the dude from Toronto too.
Yeah, I hear that, man. I don't want none of that. I'm telling you, man. We need
this shit.
Man, come on, man. We done won that already. Who he talking to?
Is he a free agent or something?
Who you talking to?
They were they were looking at him, or Quinn Snyder might lead the Jazz. That was the other name that keep popping up.
You ain't even won. Like, it's no listen. Mark Jackson's gonna demand respect because he was them. Different animal.
You forgot the most important lesson. Who built that Memphis team back?
Ooh.
Jerry
Memphis?
West.
Oh yeah.
That's why you got to be watching Winning Time as well.
On everything. God,
yeah, Jared. Yeah,
but Jerry's
always mad at us for the last 5 years.
Now you say Memphis.
Well, y'all need to be mad at Magic. What they say today on First Take that y'all passed up on Jason Tatum for Lonzo Ball.
Hey, he was supposed to be the put. Magic said he was putting his name in the rafters, man.
Magic tried to trade Worthy back in the day. They said.
There you go again, man. With that
true.
phony stuff that you watching on TV. You gonna put some respect on Magic name, man.
That documentary come out next week. He said that Winning Time stuff is fake, except the stuff about the women.
That's why he don't want to watch it.
Is that what Magic said to Haven?
Yeah, Magic say that they need Lakers on there.
There's plenty of people that are part of that whole thing. Whoever's a part of it, it's as good. I mean, it's sensationalized. It's Hollywood, but it's you got to watch it from Jerry West, Chick Hearn, all of them. Jerry Bust. You got to see how this thing went down. It was wild.
Well, let me ask you a question. After this first game, right? K. Lou, any predictions now? Who's going to win the series?
With who? You talking about everybody?
Everybody, yeah.
So I think the 76ers are really easy. Yeah. You know, I don't think that's going to be hard. I think the Heat, for the reasons why y'all just mentioned, just Atlanta's just broken down. Yeah. I'm doing all the easy ones. The Pelicans, hey, it's truly they undermanned, undermatched. Zion,
they fought though, right?
Yeah. They bleeded the game because when I was looking, they was down like 20. So I was like, I ain't watching this no more.
Right, exactly.
But Zion said he wanted to play.
Paul had to come out. Go ahead.
I said Zion said he wanted to play. Pelicans won't let him play.
I bet you do right now when it's money time.
Chris Paul though. Chris Paul really he deserves his flowers for what he did last night.
Yeah.
Everybody talk about LeBron aging well. Chris Paul's really aged great.
Yeah, and he's healthy. Remember last year playoff, he was hurt.
Yeah, 30 and 10 at age 36. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Right. The Jazz and Mavs, Luka's game time decision already.
I know
that hurt. Man.
With him missing out. Huh?
They should let him sit out. The calf, he can mess up his calf some more.
Yeah.
But you know what? That's the thing about it, right? Now, Double A, I thought about you on that one again because they had the Mavs, even with Luka being out, they had the Mavs favored to win. And I was like, wow, the Mavs and Tim Hardaway Jr. is out as well. And they still almost won, and they had them favored to win. I was surprised with that.
So what does that say about that Jazz team? What's going on there?
Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell can't stand each other.
Is that what it is? I mean,
oh yeah.
They're talking
Donovan
about
Mitchell only had 2 points the first half, and he went off for 30.
He's a volume shooter too. Donovan Mitchell, I like his game, but he's a volume shooter.
That's the other rumor that that Wade's going to trade Donovan back to the Heat next year.
He's the Jazz, right?
You said what?
He's a co-owner of the Jazz, yeah.
Right. So he gonna throw the heater bone according to Double A.
That's the rumor.
Got these conspiracy theories. It's either the Heat, it's Miami somewhere. It's Miami related.
There's always a Miami to touch.
It's always a Miami. Go ahead, Caleb.
The Warriors and the Nuggets is not the same Warriors and the Nuggets that was a few years back.
Yeah.
Murray still ain't there, so I think the Warriors easily get through this series. They may sweep them. I'll give the Nuggets one game just because Joker's gonna fight, so I give them one.
Yeah,
but I think that's a done deal. Milwaukee and the Bulls. I told y'all I wasn't bragging about the Bulls because I thought they were gonna win with the series. However, I think they're gonna play them like that. They're gonna make them work for this series.
But the Bulls got some talent, though. They got some talent. I mean, they do the ball.
They do. I got the Bulls taking 2 out of that.
Exactly.
That's about
they're
right.
gonna make them work. They're gonna steal 2, and because I think they can't shoot any worse than 33%, y'all.
No.
Yeah.
Phoenix and we said Phoenix and the Pelicans. Who am I missing? Nets and the Celtics. I think this one goes all the way to the wire. Celtics do that with everybody. They ain't just gonna lay down at all. So I think
beat each other up.
Yeah, and I think the Nets win. However, this is a matchup that should have happened later. It's just sad that the season turned like it did. But we just getting, maybe the Eastern Conference Finals now.
Caleb, so you think those are the 2 best teams in the East?
No, I'm just throwing it out there as if, if they were on either side and they could work. You wouldn't be shocked if the Celtics was playing for the Eastern Conference Finals. I put to you that.
I wouldn't.
Like,
play good D.
But do I think they will? No. But I'm just throwing that out there that this is a matchup you'd expect to either the play-in game to the Eastern Conference Finals or the actual conference finals game. You're not expecting it first round.
Right.
So this is a treat for us. And why the NBA still beating everybody else with what they do.
Yeah. And I want to circle back that Minnesota, man. I mean, they seem like they clicking at the right time. They're number 1 offense in NBA. I mean, those young kids, especially Edwards, man, they just seem fearless, and they seem like a lot of Patrick Beverly mini-me's. They just got that swag. Right now it just seems that way.
What I don't want to hear if Ja Morant loses this series is how he Hall of Fame and he the next. He next. That's what I don't want to hear.
He needs some help.
He better not go out like this.
He better not go out first round.
Well, listen, give Karl Anthony Towns some respect.
Everybody's been saying he's next, though. Like he could carry the torch, carry this flag moving forward. They're giving him them kind of accolades. I'm gonna have to see it right now.
You gotta win.
Don't show me dunking on people during the regular season. Exactly. I want to see it now.
Exactly.
He got to beat Minnesota. He got to get out the first round.
Yeah.
He got to get out the first round. But Minnesota, no joke.
So I mean, basically, he's got to have the performance that Trey had last year.
Yes,
absolutely.
Trey made you put respect on his name last year. I mean,
absolutely,
100%.
I mean, he was a hard problem for everybody he played. I mean, so basically, he's got.
And he made everyone better around him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He stepped up, man. All right, cool.
All right, well, we appreciate y'all for pulling up, stopping through, hollering at us, because you know us. Double A appreciate you. The Haven appreciate you from sideline to baseline with MB and K. Lou.
It's MB's birthday. I just saw.
Happy birthday!
I tried to do it. He snatched it down. So I ain't even mess with him again.
Yeah, it's tomorrow.
All right. Happy early birthday.
Love you, big bro.
Love you too, guys.
Have a great one.
All right, man. Y'all take care.
All right. Peace.
Yeah, I snatched it down when I saw it. I was like, I don't like stuff like that.
Yeah, I said, man, I ain't gonna say nothing. Then when you did that, I was like, okay,
I put it down. I was like, I didn't want.
Well, that's big sisters. She gonna get them kisses.
Exactly. So I was trying to snatch it off right quick. You know.
All right, have a good one.
All right, you too. Lord God, we just thank you for the show. We just give you all the glory and honor. Continue to bless the Lewis and Barrow family and Double A and DeHaven and Jason. Bless their family as well, Lord God. Let your hand continue to be upon our life. We give you all the glory and honor. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.